Prime Minister reveals the cause of the fire at the Salama army camp in Parliament.
Over 1.1 billion supplementary estimate presented to Parliament for ministers, deputy ministers and state ministers to purchase vehicles.
Various factions called for the tenure of the governor of the central bank not to be extended.
Objections raised at the Western Provincial Council against students being admitted to schools illegally.
Coming to you live and direct from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo on TV1 and Shakti TV. Good evening, this is Primetime News. I am Shahin Durangpati.
And I am Nicola D'Zoiza. We start off with a look at our top story. The Scouts Commissioners who will take part in the Asia-Pacific Regional Scout Commissioners Workshop called on President Maithripala Sirisena today. Sri Lanka Scouts Chief Commissioner Professor Nimal De Silva, International Commissioner Attorney-at-Law Janaprith Fernando and Chairman of the Sri Lanka Scout Association Srinath Gunaratne were among those present for the meeting with the President. A total of 34 Scout Commissioners will take part in the Asia-Pacific Regional Workshop. This is the first time that an international organization has invited the Sri Lanka Scout Association, which has a rich history of 104 years, to take part in a workshop.
The Colombo-Avisawala road, which was temporarily closed down due to the fire that broke out at the Salama army camp in Kosgama, has been reopened. This was confirmed to News First by Major General Sudhanta Ranasinghe, Commander of the Western Security Forces.
The fire that broke out at an armory of the Salama army camp left a trail of destruction. By the time it was contained, News First's Manjula Premaratna filed a comprehensive report on the aftermath of the disaster earlier today.
The main road opposite the camp was completely destroyed by the explosions and inferno. Today, security forces personnel were seen engaging in a clean-up operation in the affected areas.
We are here on the Kosgama-Avisawala main road. The road has not still been open to the public. What you see behind me is the Salama army camp that was the scene of destruction the day before yesterday. Individuals have not been permitted to enter the area, and only the army has commenced operations. We also witnessed that the area has been subject to severe destruction. Shrapnel can be seen throughout the area. The army is engaging in a clean-up operation. Widespread destruction can be witnessed in the area. A number of personnel are deployed for the clean-up operation.
සිදු කරනු ලබන්නේ ඒ සඳහා විශාල නිලධාරීන් පිරිසක් දැඩි පරිශ්‍රමයක නිරත වන ආකාරයත් අපට දැක් ගැනීමට හැකියාවක් ලැබෙනවා. Newsfirst අප මේ රැඳී සිටින්නේ සාලාව යුද හමුදා කඳවුරට ඉතාමත්.
We are now in close proximity to the Salama army camp. What you see behind me is an environment that looks similar to a war zone. The surrounding environment looks completely destroyed. We can also witness small fumes in certain areas close to the camp. The army and the army engineers are engaging in operations within the camp to gather shrapnel and defuse unexploded ordnance. Houses and hospitals which lie in close proximity to the camp have been completely destroyed. Likewise, a number of dispersed shrapnel can be witnessed throughout the area. We can state that the areas surrounding this army camp in Kosgama have been heavily affected. So the most important step would be the quick cleanup of these shrapnel, and this is also the wish of the people.
Residents living within the 500-meter range of the Salama army camp have not been granted permission to return to their homes. 1,218 people have been placed in 9 relief camps in the Colombo and Gampaha districts due to this. The residents living around the Salama camp tried to return to their homes today, but missions were carried out today as well to remove the shrapnel in the area. "167 individuals from 53 families were directed to the Attanagala Rajama Viharya, which is being used as a temporary relief camp.
We live about half a kilometer away from the camp. Our houses have been damaged. Please make the area secure so that we can return to our homes."
Meanwhile, a program was held in the camps for children who were displaced and in shock after the unexpected explosions. A special unit has been created by the Kosgama police at the public library in Kosgama to receive complaints of residents who had their properties damaged due to the explosions. However, the public is not happy about the performance of this unit.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe informed Parliament today that the fire at the Salama army camp in Kosgama began at an armoury. The Prime Minister pointed out that ordinary warehouses were used to store ammunition during the period when the armed conflict was underway, adding that these warehouses were not relocated due to the lack of financial allocations.
Are the necessary measures being taken to restore essential services and ensure the lives of the general public by the removing shrapnel from the area? Is a complete investigation being conducted to ascertain the total damage caused by the fire and explosions, and will it be publicized? Please provide an explanation to Parliament as well as the country on the steps that will be taken, because the army commander is yet to make a statement.
කිසිදු ප්‍රකාශයක් කරලා නැහැ. I mean, we should have expected the commander to give a immediate explanation.
During the Security Council meeting yesterday, we decided to conduct a preliminary investigation and then make a statement on it. A tri-forces committee was appointed to probe the incident, while the Deputy Inspector General of Police was also appointed to assist the investigation. Such an explosion occurred back in 2010 as well, where even foreign nationals were killed. When storing weapons and ammunition, ordinary warehouses have been used. I think this is something which happens during periods of conflict. The explosion occurred in such an armory. We must ascertain the cause of the fire. Since this camp was by the side of the road, I questioned as to why this storing system was brought here. I was told that a large sum of money had been allocated to construct the Defence Ministry headquarters, and as a result there was a shortage of funds. Intermittent and minor explosions could be reported over the next few years as well. This was what I was told. The government has decided to do what is required to restore everything back to normal under state sponsorship and with the assistance of the armed forces. We have already issued instructions to the National Water Supply and Drainage Board as well as the Ceylon Electricity Board to ensure that the supply of water as well as the supply of electricity is restored. As around 50% of the cleanup operations on the Colombo-Avissavilla main road close to the Salama army camp is completed, measures are being taken to reopen the road for vehicular movement by tomorrow. The Sri Lanka Army and Criminal Investigations Department have commenced their investigations into this matter. The government analyst is also assisting in the investigations. I would like to state that moments after we receive the investigation report, the necessary future course of action will be taken.
Defence Secretary Karunasena Hettiarachchi stated that a military court was appointed to commence investigations into the fire that broke out in the Salama army camp.
The President has issued the necessary instructions. The Sri Lanka Army has also appointed a military court that will commence investigations from today. Yesterday, the Criminal Investigations Department was also instructed to carry out an independent investigation. National security is the national program that we present to safeguard the country's independence, territorial integrity and the public. This program also takes into account key economic locations. I do not believe that this explosion causes a threat to national security. An incident may have taken place resulting in injuries and loss of property. There is an issue with security. The term national security has a more broader definition.
Retired Major General Mano Pereira, a military expert, commented on the incident that took place at the Salama army camp on the Newsline program this morning.
The Defence Secretary from Gotabaya Rajapaksa says that Army Commander Krishantha Silva should take responsibility, and if he was the Defence Secretary, he would remove him.
Let me talk in the point of view of a military officer. The mere fact that only one person died shows how the army is organized. Had this disaster taken place elsewhere, there would have been scores of people who would have been injured and dead. But then, because of the organization that is prevalent within the army, the standing orders and the procedures and action taken to prevent unwanted damage and to maintain the compliance standards that are required to the maximum possible manner, the casualties and the damage caused from this explosion is relatively less. The army is in the process of getting proper ammo dumps being constructed and then shifting these ammunition to safer areas.
Where would safer areas be?
There are places identified, and of course if you go strictly according to the regulation, there is quite a big area that is required for dumping.
He also commented on the role of the media during this period.
The damage was relatively less because there was quite good awareness that was being made by the media, especially media like Sirasa, which was present 24 hours. And then of course the army getting activated and then forcing the people to evacuate the homes before dangers really was striking them. Well, you can log into our Facebook page to watch the exclusive footage and pictures that Newsfirst obtained of the fire that erupted at the Salama army camp. Now, moving on to other local news, a supplementary estimate was presented to Parliament today requesting for over 1.1 billion rupees as funds to purchase vehicles for 22 ministries. Chief Government Whip Gayantha Karunatilaka presented the supplementary estimate on behalf of the Minister of Finance. Funds are to be allocated through this to purchase vehicles for 30 ministers, state ministers and deputy ministers attached to these 22 ministries.
Minister of Finance Ravi Karunanayake, speaking in Parliament today, noted that there is no requirement to introduce new taxes. The minister made this statement in response to a question raised by UPFA MP Udaya Gammanpila.
Don't you hope to generate revenue through the increase of taxes later this year?
We are operating in a manner where the total revenue and the GDP will not be affected. However, by the end of the year, we would have generated our expected revenue.
Do
you hope to introduce any new taxes in the future?
There is no need to do so. These temporarily imposed taxes are in place to pay off the previously obtained debt. These will be eased gradually. We need time to rebuild the fallen economy.
No further questions. The Minister of Finance gave us some good news. He said the taxes will not be increased again this year. A tense situation arose at the Western Provincial Council session today when councillors began debating on the topic of Grade 1 admissions.
The Education Minister was given an opportunity to enroll 9 students to 5 schools. I did not get any such opportunity. However, it is disappointing that this situation arose. I feel that in the Western Provincial Council, as councillors, we do not have the respect that we deserve. It is shameful for us to go to the village. As a councillor, I have to raise my objection. I will climb onto this table. This is a matter that was discussed among all the councillors. Some councillors may have enrolled students to schools. Some grade 1 students have been idling at home for 6 months. What is the answer that we give to these helpless children? He is shaming himself. It does not matter to us. If you need an answer, step outside. I will provide you with an answer. You mentioned my name. I will not like to mention this in this chamber. If you step outside, I will tell you.
Views were expressed at several media briefings on the tenure of Central Bank Governor Arjuna Mahendran coming to an end and the charges that are levelled against him.
The General Secretary of the United People's Freedom Alliance, Fisheries Minister Mahinda Amaravira, handed over a set of documents to the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption against the Central Bank Governor. Before the elections, the Prime Minister promised that no matter what government comes into power or whose government it is, the first thing he would do is to appoint a select committee in Parliament with full parliamentary powers to look into the Central Bank Governor. So without even doing this, what has happened is that the Fitch Ratings, an internationally acclaimed rating company, has downgraded Sri Lanka to B1, a country facing financial risk. So someone has to take the responsibility for this.
B1 කියලා පත් කළා. ඉතින් එතකොට මේවට කවුරු හරි වග කියන්න එපා.
June 16 වෙනිදා Come the 16th of June, an issue will arise on the position of Arjuna Mahendran. What is the response of the government on this matter? The government should show that they respect their own good governance policies. As of today, serious issues have cropped up in the country regarding his behavior, habits and the use of money for personal needs. It does not matter who is making these allegations. We ask the government to just read the message they have received, not to kill the messenger. Don't hold the messenger by the neck.
පණිවිඩ කරුවා ඝාතනය කරන්න යන්න එපා. පණිවිඩ කරුවා බෙල්ලෙන් අල්ලගන්න යන්න එපා.
February 28 2015
Since the 28th of February in 2015 to the 31st of December that year, he has spent over 1.75 million on entertainment expenses alone using the central bank credit card. So this counts as a public expenditure of the central bank. Does the 2 million rupee suit and tie count as a suit put on by the central bank? His tenure ends on the 30th of March. We urge that he not be reappointed.
නැවත ඔහුව පත් කිරීමෙන් වළකින්න කියලා අපි තා ඕනෑ කමින් ඉල්ලා.
A general amnesty period has been granted for military personnel who have been absent without official leave for a long period to legally discharge from service. The Ministry of Defence has decided to grant a period of amnesty for army deserters who have left service before the 31st of December 2015 to legally discharge from service without being subject to any punishment. Army deserters can thereby report to their respective regimental headquarters from the 11th of June to the 30th in order to obtain a legal discharge from service. During the amnesty period that has been announced, the deserters can report to their respective station and follow the required process. This has several advantages. If one owes a sum of less than 10,000 rupees, that will be cut off during the amnesty period and they will be free from that burden. This general amnesty period will provide the military officers and soldiers an opportunity to reintegrate into society.
සාමාන්‍ය ජීවිතයට ප්‍රවිෂ්ඨ වීමට ඔවුන්ට ලැබෙන මේ වටිනා අවස්ථාවක්.
Questions were also raised on the grace period granted to surrender illegal weapons. 500 plus weapons from different categories were handed over in the first phase. At present, over 501 weapons have been handed over and we are still receiving weapons. There were 500 plus weapons. Yesterday we had a review meeting and it was noted that another 15 to 20 weapons were received.
Welcome back to the news. The Newsfirst Classroom Media Leadership Workshop took place at the Walikanda Madhya Mahavidyalaya in Polonnaruwa today.
The 211th edition of the Newsfirst Classroom Workshop, while giving students a proper insight into the use of media, also gave the students an opportunity to improve their leadership and personalities. The workshop included a number of interactive activities relating to a wide variety of areas. The Newsfirst Classroom Media Leadership Program also gave way for the students to showcase their talents and skills. This media initiative undertaken by Newsfirst is extremely valuable to schools such as ours located in rural areas. The workshop appealed to all 5 senses of the students and was a resounding success.
The habeas corpus application on the disappearance of journalist Prageet Eknaligoda was taken up in the Supreme Court today. When the case was taken up today, the petitioners requested court to name the newly appointed IGP as a respondent. Accordingly, court issued this order. The petition was postponed till the 28th of this month.
The habeas corpus petition presented by my children and I over the disappearance of Prageet was taken up today. Today, the new IGP was also named in the case. We were given a date to file counterclaims for the 6th and 7th respondents.
Meanwhile, a case filed on the disappearance of journalist Prageet Eknaligoda was also taken up at the Homagama Magistrates Court today. The case was postponed till the 21st of June.
Well, that's a wrap of your primetime news for tonight. Thank you for joining us. For the Newsfirst team, I am Nicola De Zoiza.
Thank you very much for watching. I am Shahan Jarampati. Good night and take care.
Thank you.